Greetings and welcome back to CERN for Dummies, Part 8, I believe we're on. Mandela Effect, Geography, Maps of the World Have Changed. We're reading out of my book, so go back in the comments, look for Part 1 if you're just now finding us. We're picking up now on Supersymmetry and M3. What 10-string supersymmetry theories have in common is that there is a supersymmetry between forces and matter. Some have closed and open strings, and others have closed strings only. Excuse me. What is appealing to these theories is that you don't have the particle called the tachyon. Of course you don't. We have now moved to the two outer fields of physics, where matter does exist. The two outer fields have 10 strings supersymmetry each. If you were to remove the center field of my painting and push the outer two fields together, the strings or lines match up. So hopefully you saw in my previous videos, we're now taking out the center invisible field of physics that I discovered. We're scrunching the universe into what they think it is today, which is general relativity, which is a completely separate field of physics with 10 strings. And then we have quantum field over here with its 10 strings if you count. But they're completely separate and they still are not unified. And we're going to get into now they're coming up with this mysterious 11th dimension. So what drives my theory is matter. Since we can only perceive matter, it is only natural that scientists would want to eliminate the possibility of a field of physics which does not contain matter, one that they cannot measure. Once you eliminate the possibility of a field of physics that cannot be measurable, one must push together the two physical fields of physics that do contain matter, which is what you're looking at here, what they try to do. Once this is done, the strings appear to connect, thus giving the appearance of a universe with only closed strings. So this is a closed string only universe. I'm going to get into open and closed strings later. Some 10-string supersymmetry theories have right moving and left moving strings differ. I won't go into a lot of detail about that right now, but I will give you my explanation. If you can visualize, maybe close your eyes for a moment, and if you take two pencils in your hand in front of you, now wrap a rubber band around both of them, but put a twist in it so you make a figure 8 with the rubber band. Now envision in your mind rotating both pencils outward. So in your hand, spin both pencils outward with the rubber bands in that figure 8. What will happen is it rotates very smoothly. Now pretend that the center of figure 18, which I now need to get over there really quickly. Oh yeah, this one. Forgot about this. Oh, here we go. So now, sorry. Basically, this is the pencil I want you to visualize. Open your eyes and look at the painting now. This is like a pencil and a pencil, and this is like the rubber band, and this is twisting in an outward direction, and this is twisting in an outward direction. They're both twisting outward, creating this bizarre flow of energy. And this is the sea of glass that we talked about in Revelation, coming out of the throne of God, and then it comes back in, but it also comes back in. But anyway, that is figure 18. Let's move along. So now pretend that the center of figure 18 is the center point of the center field. This is the origin of all the strings, meaning right here. So that where they all crisscross, this is the origin of all the strings in this theory. It's just as simple as putting two pencils and a rubber band together, spin them outwards, look at the center, and you are looking at creation, you're looking at the throne of God, you're looking at energy being created in essence, and figuratively speaking, that's the best simple explanation. So there are two bands that move outward and upward and around the two outer fields of physics, in our example, pencils. So after traveling through the two outer fields and affecting everything in it, the rubber band in our example returns towards the origin or center field in the upward direction towards the center. The center field has no mass and no unit of spin, which is a perfect example right here. The two outer universes, or pencils in our example, do contain mass and have 2 units of spin, outward and inward, or left and right moving. So this is also known as the negative XY movement and a positive XY movement, negative XY movement and a positive XY movement. So now we're discussing movement of energy and strings in the universe. Rather than being stagnant, they move, they flow. This is the sea of glass. This is the energy that flows and gives it life to our universe, which kind of looks like eyes at the same time. But anyway, moving right along. So the above, excuse me, I should hit pause for a minute. Here, I paused for a second here. Am I on or mute? Shoot, stop it. I'm just going to assume I'm on. So, the above paragraph describes 10 strings supersymmetry that requires a massless graviton and 2 units of spin. It also describes the xy equals negative yx movement of strings. Ordinary space and time dimensions are described by ordinary numbers, which have the property that they commute, which is xy equals yx. The supersymmetry directions are described by numbers that anti-commute, which is the xy equals negative yx. We're getting into the physics, probably a little over everybody's head, but that's okay. Bear with me for just a minute. So where we have that xy equals yx is an expression of the position of the universe. So positive numbers, xy equals yx, this is an expression of the position of the universe. When we have the xy equal negative yx, this is an expression of the movement. So one is position, one is movement. So these are mathematical expressions of the universe. Both are correct in what they are describing. See, they don't understand how both of this can happen at the same time, but I'm showing it to you right here. Just 2 rubber bands around a pencil. This is in agreement with my theory. As you spin the pencils outward, you can feel how the rubber band from the center field moves up and out. This is the positive and negative x movement of the strings. You can also feel how the rubber band from the center down moves up and inward. This is the positive y and negative movement of strings. So, hopefully you're still with me. It gets more interesting later. So, the only way to end the debate over a 10-dimensional or a 26-dimensional universe, a theory with no mass, and one that must contain matter, is to say that there are both. There's both, folks. Kind of reminds me of the Democrats and Republicans. You need both so they can... Anyway, I won't go there. So anyway, in theory, we can prove that there is one or the other. The problem is that one school of thought wants to argue with the other that they're right. Everybody wants to be right, after all. The way we found that there are 10 or 26 dimensions was to first stop fighting and give up the idea that there's, more than 3 dimensions. Isn't this where it all began? So, for example, figure 22, which is going to be right here. Doink, 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 doink. Oh, this one. I think we talked about this earlier. I love this one. The myopic view of the universe. Anyway, so for our example, in figure 22, this is, we talked about this earlier in my paper. This is Albert Einstein's universe. And we have the 4 forces, time and space, height, width, and depth. So taking just one field of physics, Einstein could find the origin point of the 4 forces, as you can see in the center. So this is Einstein's universe. He's saying this is height, this is time, this is depth, this is width. Electromagnetic force must be here, gravity must be here, weak, this is the origin point. Einstein kept saying there must be an origin point. He's right. That you begin to see the origin point there, but then we blow it out into 2 universes, and then we blow it out again into 3. So there's actually 3 fields of physics, and Einstein is trying to take 3 fields of physics and cram it into 1. Anyway, moving right along. So the next generation of physics came along and said, well, there are more than 10 dimensions. This opened up Einstein's universe to figure 21, which is the one I thought we were page 39. Yeah. So now, instead of this one myopic view, now we open it up to have a field of general relativity and quantum. So they're starting to expand their minds a little bit. But as you see earlier, they need to expand their minds one more and say there's three field of physics rather than this stupid, mysterious 11th dimension. But anyway, I talked about that earlier, I believe, and we'll talk about it again if we need to. So anyway, so now M theory came along. It said that all string theories must be correct. They're just looking at different parts of one larger theory. Well, everyone's been screaming and saying that forever, and finally one day somebody said, "Okay, we give up. You're all right. You're all just looking at different parts of one theory, and we're just going to call this thing M theory." So, going back to figure 4 for some reason. Um, yeah. Oh yeah. So now M theory is going to include the four. One string theory looks at this part, another string looks at this part of the physical universe, and remember, if everything outside of the diamond is this is all the physical universe. This is the third field of physics. So now they're looking at this part, that part, and then also the invisible realm for the very first time. They're considering the Bosniak string theory, and M theory comes along and tries to unify all this, and they're saying, well, this is the mysterious 11th dimension, but they just won't want to admit that there's a whole other field of physics here. Anyway, CERN's starting to get there. But we'll get into CERN later. So anyway, but the problem is they really didn't like this 26 string theory. In other words, they want to deny the existence of 26 strings. They want to deny the existence of this field of physics. It basically got discovered by accident. And they said, "Oh, we're going to hide it from you, and you're all a bunch of idiots. So we're just going to collapse the universe, and you'll never know. We just are going to go back and say, oh, this is the universe. Yeah, there's general relativity. Everybody knows about that. Quantum, yeah, that's cuckoo land, double slit experiments, wave particles. This is like total bizarre cuckoo land. And then we're going to say, oh, this is a mysterious 11th dimension that exists outside of everything and permeates through. And they're just lying their butts off to you about physics. It's all in the Bible. This is physics out of the Bible. Anyway, moving right along. I got on a rant. Sorry. So we really need to look at figure 21, which we're back there. The theoretical physicists have now answered the question as to why everyone can have such different string theories about the same thing and all be right at the same time. But they still have not found the origin point. So now they're saying that there must be... I can't believe I'm reading this again. There must be an 11th dimension. Here's this 11th dimension. I just can't believe they say this. That exists outside of our 10-dimensional universe. But then they just stop there. That's it. Boom. This kind of reminds me of a puzzle. If you draw 4 lines without lifting your pencil and connect all the dots, it's kind of like... should I go there? Let's see. How do I use this stupid thing? I'll just go here. Anyway, so... I think I might have this here. No, I don't. Okay, my bad. Sorry. Anyway, it's an old school puzzle. You kind of like take a tic-tac-toe board and make those dots, and without lifting your pencil, you have to connect all the dots. And apparently, I forgot to include this puzzle, or did I? Was it down here? Oh, here we go. Here's the puzzle. Okay, so you take a dot here, a dot here, dot. So you draw this on your paper, and without lifting your pencil, try to connect all the dots. The problem is that you're pre-programmed to think inside a box, and you're just going to spin your wheels, keep trying to draw this box, and you can't do it. You have to think outside the box. So, well... I doubt I'm going to talk about the puzzle later. So anyway, here's the answer to the puzzle. You start way out here. What happened? Like, okay, we're not going to give you the answer. Anyway, so you start way out here, and a point that exists way outside the box. You draw your line through here, and then you draw to a point, an imaginary point way out here. Because who said you live in a box? Who said you have to keep your lines inside the box? You know, your coloring books, they teach you draw inside the line, go outside the line. Everything in life is preconditioned, pre-programmed to keep you inside the box. No, just start at a point that it doesn't exist in the box way out here. Move it through here, find this imaginary point here, draw it down here to this other way imaginary point up here, and boom, you're done. You just connected all four. But you have to think outside the box. So anyway, an example of thinking. And let's see, moving right along. So unless you've done this before, it's really difficult to do this puzzle successfully. And that's because the dots look like a box. You have been trained and conditioned your whole life to live inside a box. Well, I've got news for you. There is no box. It's an illusion. Okay, looking at figure 27. Where's figure 27? Seriously? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. So we go to figure 27 for the answer, but I just showed you the answer. Anyway, moving right along. So now it's time to step out of the box just one more time. In order to prove the theory of everything, one must be willing to go beyond all the boundaries of the physical human experience, to take a look from out there, looking back. Then, and only then, will one be able to say, "Ah, now I see." My diagrams and illustrations provide this view represented in a two-dimensional drawing. For example, a circle and a triangle on a piece of paper will never be equal, or will they? To a person living in a two-dimensional universe, they never will. And any such talk would be ridiculous and heresy, and you'd be laughed at, and white coats would come and throw you in insane asylums and drug you, and all kinds of horrible things would happen if you said this. However, this is for two-dimensional beings. Oh, the silliness. They just don't know. You just simply realize there's another reality that goes beyond your limited two-dimensional. You lift it up into the third and the fourth. So reality can be